When celebrities shut down disrespectful interviewers, observing someone in a position of authority maintain composure while utterly demolishing disrespect is incredibly fulfilling, because interviews aren't always truly interviews. They are traps, awkward inquiries, covert insults, jabs that are passive-aggressive and intended to elicit a response. However, what happens when famous people refuse to comply? What happens if, rather than becoming uncomfortable, they turn everything around, leaving the interviewer dumbfounded? Today, we're diving into moments where celebrities didn't just defend themselves, they owned the room. And trust me, some of these comebacks are so smooth, you won't even realise what happened until it's too late. Number 1. Scarlett Johansson, the question that backfired instantly. Everything looks polished. Perfect lighting. Smooth setup. A standard press junket. Scarlett Johansson sits confidently, answering questions like she's done 1,000 times before. And that's exactly why what happens next hits so hard. The interviewer smiles, leans in, and casually asks, "What kind of underwear do you wear under your suit?" For a split second, it doesn't even register. Then it does, and the entire atmosphere shifts. Not loudly, not dramatically, but subtly, like the air just got heavier. Scarlett doesn't react immediately. No awkward laugh, no fake smile. She just pauses. And that pause? It stretches longer than it should. Long enough for the audience to feel uncomfortable. Long enough for the interviewer to realise something's wrong. Then she slowly turns her head, locks eyes with him, and asks, "Why do you ask me that? What kind of underwear do you wear?" And in that exact moment, the power flips. The interviewer, who thought he was in control, is now exposed. You can see it, the nervous smile, the slight shift in posture, the instant regret. And here's the brilliance of it. She didn't attack him. She didn't raise her voice. She simply made him sit inside his own question. And suddenly, it didn't feel funny anymore. It felt inappropriate. That's not just a comeback. That's psychological control. Number 2. Robert Downey Jr. The interview that went too far. This one begins slowly. Too slow almost. Robert Downey Jr. enters the interview at ease. Endearing. Grinning. Everyone adores the typical charisma. They discuss film, career, achievement. Everything seems secure. However, after that, the interviewer shifts course. First, subtly, he begins discussing Robert's history, his hardships, his darkest hours, and it's visible to you, not in Robert's words, but in the things he doesn't say. His smile fades a little. He makes an effort to change the topic, maintains professionalism. However, the interviewer continues to probe. Deeper, more personal, more uncomfortable. At this point, the tension is thick. You're watching and thinking, why isn't he stopping? Then comes the turning point. Robert leans back slightly, looks at him and says, I'm sorry, I really don't. What are we doing? That line isn't loud, but it cuts through everything. Because now the interview isn't an interview anymore. It's been exposed. And then comes the moment nobody expected. He quietly removes the mic, stands up, and walks out. No drama, no explosion, just exit. And somehow that silence screams louder than any argument ever could. Number 3. Rihanna the moment she took control back. There's something odd about this interview. More relaxed, almost light-hearted. Rihanna is grinning, at ease, and responding to inquiries with ease. However, after that, the interviewer begins to stray, away from her job. Steer clear of her music. Directly into her private life. Are you in a relationship with him? What's happening between you two? Tell us the truth. Rihanna initially dismisses it with a laugh. She's accustomed to this, however the inquiries never end. They continue to arrive, one after the other, and gradually you can see the change. Her grin shifts. Not gone, simply put, tighter, under control. At last she makes a decision. Enough. She looks straight at the interviewer, straightens up a little, and says, "My record will be released soon. This is all about that. No rage, no lengthy speech, just a well-drawn barrier." And this is what gives it its strength. She doesn't request deference, she assumes it, and makes the space adapt. Number 4. Tom Hardy one line that shut everything down. The atmosphere here is different. This isn't a one-on-one interview, it's a press conference. Crowded room, multiple reporters, cameras everywhere. Tom Hardy is answering questions, calm as always. Then someone asks a question that feels off, too personal, too invasive, and completely unrelated. For a moment, there's confusion. Even the audience senses it. Tom pauses. Not long, but long enough to feel it. Then he leans forward slightly, eyebrows narrowing just a bit, and says, "What on earth are you talking about?" The room goes silent. Not awkward, heavy. Because in that one sentence, he didn't just reject the question, he exposed it. The interviewer tries to recover, explain, justify. But it's too late. The energy has shifted. And suddenly, everyone in the room knows that question should never have been asked. Number 5. Taylor Swift turning criticism into a weapon. This one feels familiar. Too familiar. Taylor Swift sits across from the interviewer, calm and composed. Then comes the question, the kind she's heard 100 times, about her relationships. But this time, there's an edge. A subtle judgment. The implication that she's the problem. Now here's where it changes. Instead of defending herself, Taylor pauses, smiles, and flips the entire narrative. If a man does that, it's normal. If I do it, it's a problem. And just like that, everything shifts. Because now, it's not about her anymore, it's about the system, the double standard. And suddenly, the interviewer isn't asking questions anymore, they're being questioned. That's the twist. Number 6. Keanu Reeves' The Quietest Shutdown. This moment is different. No tension, no confrontation, just stillness. Keanu Reeves is sitting there, soft-spoken as always. Then a question comes, deeply personal. About loss, about pain, something that clearly crosses a line. Now most people expect one of two reactions, anger or avoidance. But Keanu chooses something else. He pauses, takes a breath, answers briefly, respectfully, and then gently redirects the conversation. No sharp words, no visible discomfort. But the message is clear, that door is closed. And what makes it powerful is that he never needed to say it out loud. These moments hit different, because they're not scripted, they're real, raw, unfiltered reactions in situations designed to break people. But instead of breaking, they took control. Not by shouting, not by attacking, but by understanding one simple thing. You don't have to answer every question to win the conversation. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So tell me, which shutdown gave you chills? And trust me, the next video gets even more uncomfortable.